بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. The next lesson we're going to be discussing is the third time of tabi'. So the first tabi' we discussed was a na'at, the adjective. Then we discussed al-adf bil harf. Now we're going to be discussing the ta'keed. Ta'keed is also known as at-tawkeed. Both lughat are there. بعد توكيدها. The word توكيد also comes in the Quran. Okay? What is توكيد? Is the third type of تابع. So first one, التأكيد تابع. So التأكيد is the تابع, meaning it follows the i'rab of the word before it. يدل, it shows one of two meanings. It has one of two purposes. It shows either, number one, so يدل, I explained to you before again, ala is the مفعول غير صريح, the sila of يدل. So it shows, it implies, it gives the meaning of the inclusion. So taqreer, inclusion of the matbu' in everything to what it has been attributed to. So not inclusion. I said here, that's a mistake, it's wrong here. This is confirmation, it's mixed up. Okay, the confirmation. So taqreer means a confirmation. Okay. Is to confirm the matbu' to that which has been attributed to. Okay? Let's say, for example, there's one person who is very, let's say a person was ill. He was ill. Let's say Zayd was ill. So if I say, Masha Zaydun. Zayd was bedridden. Now, to confirm that Zayd actually walked, you might think, Masha Zaydun. Now, because he was paralyzed and maybe he was bedridden, he couldn't walk for a year, 2 years. Now, you want to confirm. You want to confirm, and this is Zayd is the matbu'. So you want to confirm the link between Masha and Zaydun. You bring a tawkeed or a ta'keed. You say Masha Zaydun nafsuhu. So then this becomes what? A tabi'. This is a tabi', a word which follows the previous word, and it confirms the link between what has been attributed to the matbu', this is Zayd, is confirmed that no, Zayd actually walked, he recovered, he walked. That's one first meaning. To confirm, because it's something strange, something abnormal, something you may not accept readily. So you bring tawkeed. That's the first meaning. The second meaning or the second purpose of tawkeed is to show the inclusion. So that's wrong here. This is inclusion. To show what? The inclusion. Shumul is to show the inclusion of the ruling. Hukam, even nusiba, nisba, hukam, both the same thing. Whether you use the word nisba. So between Zayd and Masha, you have a nisba, a link. So you either call it nisba, you can call it a hukam, whatever. So the tabi' shows the inclusion of the nisbah of the rule for every member. For every member from the members of the matbu'. So for example, if I say, حفظت طلاب الدرس. حفظت طلاب الدرس. The students memorize the lesson. So it's a class of 30. Did every single one of them memorize the lesson? So now to emphasize this is the matbu'. This is the matbu'. And to show the inclusion of every member of tullab, we say here what? They would say, حفظت طلاب الدرس كلهم. So this is a tabi'. What does this tabi' do? It shows or it reaffirms the inclusion of every member of the matbu', that every single tabi'. Because we can say the students memorize the lesson when we mean majority. That's okay, that's something you can say in your language. But if you want to re-emphasize or affirm the inclusion of every single member, you can bring a ta'keed. So a ta'keed or ta'keed is one of two things. It either reaffirms confirms the link, Masha Zaydun nafsu, Zayd himself done this action. Or it is used to include every member of the matbu'. Everybody following me? You understood this? Yes? Musab, you understand? Any questions? No? Go ahead. We'll discuss that. We'll do that later on, inshallah. It's coming up, inshallah. Gee, next question. The question was, can you have binafsihi? And that will be discussed later on, inshallah. Next question. This will all be discussed in I'm just explaining the concept. وَالتَّأْكِيدُ عَلَى قِسْمَيْنِ. There are two types of tawqeed. The first type is called lafzi. Tawqeed, lafzi. What does this mean? Tawqeed or ta'qeed lafzi, takreer is repetition or to repeat. So tawqeed al-lafzi is a repetition or to repeat the first word. Nahwu, ja'ani zaydun zaydun. Or ja'a ja'a. So in here, in this first example, we're doing tawqeed lafzi by repeating the fa'il. So Zayd came. So you don't say Zayd came. You say what? Zayd. Maybe underline Zayd. Or we can say it was Zayd who came. By repeating Zayd, we are doing what? Giving emphasis towards Zayd. Or Zayd. You say here. Zayd came. You can probably underline that or write that in capitals to show the emphasis on the coming. So by repeating a word, it creates what? Emphasis. Have you understood this? Yes? It's called tawqeed takreer al-lafzi. So before we move on, so tawqeed is two types. Tawqeed, or as I said before, you can have a ta'qeed. Both are fine. Both words are used. Okay? We have tawqeed lafzi. This is where you just repeat the word. And tawqeed ma'nawi is where you bring special words for emphasis. Okay, and at the moment we'll discuss tawqeed lafzi first, which is what? To repeat the first word. Now in tawqeed lafzi, you can have a tawqeed lafzi of a fa'il. You can repeat the fa'il. For example, qama zaydun, an example mentioned before. You can also, this also applies to the ismul fa'il. Can you think of ismul fa'il in repeating the Quran for emphasis? Correct. Hayhata, hayhata, hayhata lima tu'adun. So basically it's really, this is hayhata, this is the ismul fa'al, and this is the ma'mul or the muta'alliq of the hayhata. And this is what? Tawqeedun lafdhiyun. Why is tawqeedun lafdhiyun? You repeat the first word to create emphasis. Ay ba'uda. Very far fetch is that which you are being promised. Okay? So you can repeat the fa'al or the ismul fa'al. Another example, you can repeat the ism. Now there are two types of ism. Ismun zahir and ismun mudmar. So ismun zahir is very easy. You just repeat the word. For example, in Surah Al-Waqiyah we read, وَالسَّابِقُونَ السَّابِقُونَ. So really the i'rab is what? السابقون is mubtada. And this أولئك المقربون, this jumla is khabar. في محل الرفع خبر. Okay? And sabiqun is a tabi. This is what? In our i'rab, our sub in Hindu part i'rab we say mu'akkad and tawqeed. And in i'rab you would say what? This is what? This is توكيد or تأكيد لفظي في محل الرفع. Yes? Not في محل الرفع مرفوع. You understand? You repeat the same word to create emphasis. So now if you look at this word, this sentence has many emphasis. Why? One is the emphasis of the tawqeed, or one is the ulaika being repeated, which refer back to sabiqun again. And also have alif lam here. So a bit of balagha point. So we have so we have one emphasis, tawqeed. Second emphasis, having the ulaika repeated, and the third emphasis is alif lam on the khabar. To show emphasis on the link between as-sabiqun and al-muqarrabun. Okay. Another example of this is, so one way of doing a tawqeed lafzi is you repeat the actual word. Sabiqun, exact same word, repeat as-sabiqun. Another way, according to there's ikhtilaf in this tafsir, but another possibility is that you can do tawqeed by not bringing the exact same word, by bringing a muradif, a mutaradif, a synonym. Meaning, they are different in word, but they have the same meaning. So, muttafaq alayhi masla, without any ikhtilaf, would be, for example, Ja'a asadun laythun. Because asad and layth is the same thing. So, Ja'a asadun laythun. So instead of saying Ja'a asadun, a lion came, like, seriously. In the lockdown, all the animals were running wild, so now a lion came out. So Ja'a asadun. You can say, but really and actually a lion came. So you can repeat the word, or you can bring a mutaradif, a synonym. So according to one tafsir, one opinion, is that ضيقا and harajan, this is something I've said is different i'rab. One i'rab is, this is tawkeed lafzi. You repeated the word, not the exact same word, but the synonym. So because haraj also means dayiq, narrow. So one way of bringing the tawkeed is bringing the exact same word, like asabiqun, or bringing a mutaradif, a synonym. Any questions so far? Yeah, that's probably. So the question is that some translations have put this as a khabar. So again, remember in Arab you have, that's the edges of the Quran. You can have so many different Arab, and all of them give the same meaning, and all of them give different meanings. So can you make this mubtada and make this khabar and make this a new sentence? In Arab wise, it would give a meaning. You can do that as well. That's one way of doing Arab. Make that mubtada and make that the khabar, and then make that new sentence. But what we're trying to prove here, that it can also be one Arab is making it tawkeed. So that's also one way of doing it. Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay. Right. Now, when we want to bring a tawkeed of a ضمير munfasil, it's quite easy. You just repeat the word. For example, إياك أردت. So if you want to say, I intended you, I meant you, I mean you. So you can say إياك. You just repeat the إياك. Not a problem. Or ضمير مرفوع أنت المجرم. You are the criminal. So again, tawkeed, you repeat that أنت. The issue comes up a bit when it's ضمير متصل. How do you do this? Okay, so one example here. If you have ضمير, so you have two things, the mu'akkad, and then you have the tawkeed. Right? So in here, the mu'akkad is what? Marfu'. The thing being emphasized is marfu'. And the tawkeed is also marfu'. So if you want to emphasize, is zamir marfu' muttasil. What does the Quran say here? If he istata to be able to, amalla yumillu is to dictate. Okay? La yastati'u an yumilla huwa. So this is what? The tawkeed of the zamir in here. So in here the zamir is huwa, mustatir. And this is the tawkeed of this. So the zamir marfu' muttasil is tawkeed has been brought using zamir marfu' munfasil. So when you have a zamir marfu' muttasil, you bring the tawkeed by bringing a zamir marfu' munfasil. Huwa. So the zamir, so you say here, zamir marfu'. So the marfu' muttasil is emphasized using what? Marfu' munfasil. Okay? If you have a zamir mansub muttasil, ra'aytuka. So what do you want to emphasize? The zamir mansub muttasil. How do you bring the emphasis? Two possibilities. You can bring what? Mansub munfasil, or you can bring marfu' munfasil. Basically, the zamir marfu' munfasil can come for any emphasis. You can use it anywhere. So you can say ra'aytuka iyaka, or you can say ra'aytuka anta. You can say it both ways. So there are two ways you can bring emphasis here. Ra'aytuka iyaka or ra'aytuka anta. So this can be the tawkeed of ka, and also you can say anta as well. Are you following me? And if you have a zamir majroor muttasil, there's two ways you can do it. You can repeat the word but with the jar. I can't say maratu bika ka. If the maratu bika, you bring the zamir. So now we have zamir majroor muttasil. You can bring the emphasis using what? Majroor muttasil again, but with the what? With the jar. Or you can just say the marfu' muttasil. Marfu' munfasil, sorry. You can say marartu bika bika or marartu bika anta. So both options are permissible. Marartu bika bika or marartu bika anta. Is that clear? So when you have a zamir muttasil, the one way is throughout the zamir marfu munfasil will work everywhere. It can become a tawqid for the marfu muttasil, mansub muttasil or majrur muttasil. And along with that, you can also bring a zamir mansub munfasil for the mansub muttasil and the majrur muttasil for the majrur muttasil, but by repeating the ba harf and jar. Does that make sense? Are you following me? Yes? Any questions? These are all lafzi. But it's not the exact word, but it's a similar word. So yumilla huwa, so there's a huwa in here. These are all lafzi. Huwa is huwa, the anta is equal to the ka, the bika is equal to the anta. So these are all tawqid lafzi. When you repeat the first word either exactly as it is, like as-sabiqun, or zaydun, zaydun, or something similar, mutaradif, and a synonym. Okay? Right. I made a mistake here. Yeah, so this is supposed to be comfort, this is supposed to be harf. Okay, harf. If you want to repeat a harf, you just say, if the harf is like, for example, a harf nafyin, a harf like غير عامل, a harf nafyin or a harf tanbih, you say la af'al. So basically it's la af'alu, and you bring the other la, or you can say, well, this is, what's happening? It's frozen. You say here, this is harf nafyin, and this is tawqid. Okay? And then you bring the fa'il. You got that? Okay. However, if you want to bring a tawqid of a harf which is not like a harf nafyin or a harf jawab, then what do you have to do? If you look at this example, annakum, so anna is harf mushabbahun bil fa'il. Yes? Kum is the ism. Now, إذا متم وكنتم ترابا وإظاما is what? That's a zarf مفعول فيه. In between. So when you have a scenario like this, what do you need to do? You need to do two things. Number one is, you need to, so you hear what we're doing? We're repeating harf inna. This is the mu'akkad. You're repeating the mu'akkad. This is a tawqid. We're creating emphasis with anna. So what do we have to do? First of all, we have to create a fasl. You can't come together. So inna is very rare. There's a few points, but it's very, very rare. It's not that you can't say inna because they come together. You have to have what? A fasl, a spacing. Correct? And number two is what? You have to repeat the kum, the thing that is joined to. So when you want to do a tawqid of a harf like la, you just repeat it. If you want to do a tawqid of a harf like layta or la'alla, the huruf amil, then what do you have to do? You have to create a space either by having the kum, innakum. So either this is a space, even the kum is a space. You can't say inna. And similarly, you have to repeat the word is joined to. So annakum mukhrajun. And this in between is the maf'ul fi. Do you understand? So the emphasis is on what? Annakum. Is the emphasis on anna. But to create the emphasis on anna, you have the fasil of kum, and you have to repeat the kum here as well in this sentence. So it's really annakum mukhrajun. Without tawqid, it would have been أنكم إذا متم وكنتم ترابا وإظاما مخرجون. But this has been repeated for emphasis. And when you repeat it for emphasis, it comes after a fasl, the fasl of the ism and the fasl of the maf'ul fi. And when after the fasl, you have to repeat the kum. You can't say anna again by itself. You have to say annakum. Does that make sense? Yes? Any questions regarding that? So if you have a harfu nafyin or harfu ijab, na'am, naam, la, then you just repeat it, there's no issue in that. But when it's a harfu amil, then you have to create, you can't say inna, laytahu fa'al. So if for example, layta, I wish he done it, like so much I wish. You say, laytahu fa'al. So what happens how? We've repeated it. So one is we repeated it. We brought a space and we brought the zamir again. You can't say in normal kalam, you can't say layta zaydan fa'ala. You can't say that. Or you can't say layta زيدا ليت فعل. Because you have to repeat the ليته again here. ليت زيدا ليته. You have to repeat the ma'mul of that harf. Does that make sense? Yes, everybody following me? Okay. Okay, and then the next one is that sometimes you also get a tawqid of a jumla. You get a tawqid of a jumla. So, كلا سيعلمون is also tawqid lafzi. And then you have here, كلا سيعلمون. But when you have a tawqid of a jumla, usually you have the word thumma. So tawqid lafzi of a jumla is usually separated using the word thumma. أولى لك. What's it? أولى لك فأولى ثم أولى لك فأولى. So you have the thumma. كلا سيعلمون ثم كلا سيعلمون. So whenever you repeat a sentence of tawqid, usually you have thumma. You can have it without thumma as well. There's a few examples of that. There's a few hadiths. I can't remember at the moment, but you do have examples of that. But primarily, the tawqid of a jumla comes with thumma, even though you can have it without thumma. Understood? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So inshallah, we're moving on to the second type of ta'keed. So before we said, ta'keed is how many types? 1, 2. There are 2 types of ta'keed. One is ta'keed lafzi, one is ta'keed ma'nawi. There are 2 types. Okay? Now, ta'keed lafzi, you just repeat the word. It's not a problem. Ta'keed ma'nawi, it says here, وَهُوَ بِأَلْفَاظٍ مَعْدُودَةٍ. Ta'keed ma'nawi occurs using specific types of words. So in ta'keed lafzi, there's no limit. Any number of Arabic words, you just get that word and you repeat it. Once you repeat it, it's finished, khalas. But in ta'keed ma'nawi, there are specific, a limited number of words we have to use. What are these? This table summarizes it. Okay, it's a long table, but it's very simple. Let's start from the top. What do we have in this table here? On this side, we have all of the words that are used. Not all of them, but the main ones, the ones that are commonly used in Arabic language. There's only 1 or 2 that's not here. And that's discussed in the text later on. So the first column is the words. Okay? Then, how this is used as a mufrad, how this is used to emphasize the mufrad, how it's used to emphasize muthanna, how it's used to emphasize jama'. Okay, that's the columns. Then here, we have here, what do you have to change? Bikhtilaf. What do you have to change? When you're using the word nafs, what do you have to change? The sigha and the zamir. What does sigha mean? You have to make it plural. Sigha means you have to make it plural. And zamir means you change the zamir. Okay, I explain that. Now, if we go through each one individually, you understand inshallah. So if I want to emphasize a word using the word nafs, I have to change the sigha and the zamir. For example, Ja'ani Zaydun. So if I want to say Zayd came, and I want to say, well, you know what? Zayd actually came. You know, he never come, but he came. I'm sure it was him. So you have nafs and the zamir who. So this is the sigha and this is the zamir. Okay? If it was Hind, you would say Ja'ani al-Hindu nafsuha. So now the zamir will change. In the jewel, you change the sigha and the zamir. Ja'ani Zaydan. Now there's 2 ways of doing it. You can make it plural. So here, this example is plural. When you want to emphasize the plural, you want to emphasize the jewel. You have a choice. You can use the zamir, you can use the muthanna or the jewel. So here is a jewel form. You can say Ja'ani Zaydan nafsahuma, or you can say Ja'ani Zaydan anfusuhuma. Both are permissible. And if it's mu'annas, it wouldn't change because it's the same zamir huma. So the ikhtilaf is sigha was zamir. You change the word itself. Ja'ani Zaydun nafsuhu. Ja'ani az-Zaydan anfusuhuma. Or Ja'ani az-Zaydan nafsahuma. Or Ja'ani al-Hindan anfusuhuma or nafsahuma. Both are fine. When it comes to the plural, what do you have to do? Ja'ani Zaydun anfusuhum. Or Ja'ani al-Hindan anfusuhunna. Okay? This is how it works. Do you understand? So in nafs, you change the sigha and you also change the zamir. Okay? And in the jewel, you got a choice of using the dual form or the plural form. The same exact rule applies to ayn. Ayn and nafs are equal. Same thing. You change the sigha and the dhamir. So you get ja'ani zaydun aynuhu wal hindu aynuha ay a'yun and here a'yun. Yes? So these two are used for singular, plural, and dual, and the same rule is what? You change the sigha and the dhamir. Next one we have is kila and kilta. Kila and kilta. These words stay the same. There's no, and they only occur in the dual form. If you want to emphasize a dual, i.e. both. And even in English, you can't have both for singular or plural. It only has to be for two. So for example, if it's male, ja'ani rajulan kilahuma, you change the zamir. And if it's feminine, you use the kilta form and the zamir will be huma. So you can't really, that's how it is set up. Following so far? Everybody with me? Now, the words kullu, jami and ajma, the words kullu, jami and ajma, they're used for everything but the dual. And they are used to emphasize singular or plural. When it emphasizes singular, what does that mean? It means that one thing has many parts and you want to emphasize that every single part is included. For example, kitab has many pages. So you're emphasizing all parts of that one book. So for example here, what will happen here? In kullu and jami', these have one rule, that kullu and jami' never change. You don't become singular or plural. Only the zamir changes in here. So for example, qara'tul kitaba kullahu. I read all of the book. Qara'tul kitaba jami'ahu. When it's plural, kullu stays kull. What do you change instead? The zamir. Ja'a al-rijal kulluhum. Ja'a al-rijal jami'uhum. So kull and jami' don't change. They don't have plural forms. They remain the same at all times. Okay? Yes? Only the zamir that's affixed to them, that will change. So qara'tul kitaba kullahu. If it's female, qara'tul risalata kullaha. The ha will change. Everybody following me so far? Musab, you following me? Yes? In the word ajma, this has a sigha will change and the zamir will also change. If it's masculine singular, and this is ghayr munsarif, the word ajma is ghayr munsarif because why? It's waznul fa'al and it's a description, has a sifati meaning to it. So ja al jayshu ajma'u, the entire army came. Or if it's female, wal qabilatu jam'a, the entire tribe came, because qabila is feminine. So here use the singular form, but now this is mudhakkar and this is muannath. Do you understand? If it comes to plural, the plural of ajma is ajma'un, and the plural of jam'a is juma'u. So in summary, we have different types of, here on this side, we have different types of, these are the mahdud, limited number of words for tawkeed ma'nawi. Yes? And apart from these here, these in the middle, kila, kilta, kul and jami'. The rest, the others change sigha and zamir. And kila, kilta, kullu, jami', they don't have form that they can change. They remain the same. Only the zamir changes. Okay, I hope that summarizes the tawkeed ma'nawi. Okay. So for example here, look. فَسَجَدَ الْمَلَائِكَةُ كُلُّهُمْ أَجْمَعُونَ. Now here's very interesting. So the angels prostrated. So what is kulluhum becoming? What is kulluhum becoming? It's a tawkeed. What kind of tawkeed ma'nawi? Of what? Of which word? Al-malaika. What is ajma'un becoming? Tawkeed. What kind of tawkeed is this? No, it's tawkeed lafzi. This is tawkeed lafzi of which word? Kulluhum. So even though kullu and ajma, they're different words, but they have the same meaning. So one way of doing Arab is kulluhum is tawkeed ma'nawi of malaika, and ajma and kullu have the same meaning. So this is tawkeed lafzi of the tawkeed ma'nawi. Yes, you could. Okay, another example we have here. فَلَوْ شَاءَ لَهَدَاكُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ فَلَوْ شَاءَ لَهَدَاكُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. What is أجمعين becoming? توكيد. So توكيد, so we say أجمعين is توكيد لفظي or معنوي? توكيد معنوي. Of what? Of the word kum. This is now mansoob. This is what? This was marfu'. So this is a توكيد معنوي of the مفعول به. Okay. وَأْتُونِي بِأَهْلِكُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. What's this توكيد معنوي becoming? توكيد معنوي of which word? توكيد معنوي of أهل. So this is now in the majrur state. Okay, so وَأْتُونِي بِأَهْلِكُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. Bring all of your family. This is emphasizing the أهل. This أجمعين is emphasizing the kum. And this كلهم أجمعون is emphasizing the marfu' of malaika. Okay. وَأَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. Again, so now look, the kull stays as it is. If you go back to the previous one, this is all ajma'un and it changes. So ajma'un is the plural of ajma', and because it's plural, the word ajma', jam'a, juma' doesn't come in the Quran. So only ajma'un comes. Kullu, it wouldn't change itself. The zamir will change. So Allah taught Adam the names of everything. So asma' ghayra akil plural, you say here kullaha. Kitab, you believe in all of the books. So kullihi, the he zamir will not change to refer to kitab because it's jins, so all of the books. Okay. وَلَوْ شَاءَ رَبُّكَ لَآمَنَ مَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ كُلُّهُمْ جَمِيعًا. Now kulluhum, what's kulluhum becoming tawkeed of? Tawkeed, lafzi of which word? If Allah, if your Lord had will, man fil ardi. This is tawkeed lafzi, not tawkeed lafzi, tawkeed ma'nawi, sorry. This is tawkeed ma'nawi of which word? Man. Correct? Now the word jami', that's why I brought this example here. The word jami' is also used for tawkeed. The word jami' is also used for tawkeed, but usually it can be used for tawkeed. Jami'uhum, for example. So jami'uhum. So the word jami' can be used like kul. Okay? But more often than not, it becomes what? It is used as a hal. So even though it gives a tawkeed meaning, in terms of i'rab, it's not usually a tabi'. Usually it comes as what? Jami'an, as a hal. So jami'an, you say here, it depicts the meaning of emphasis, but i'raban, what is it going to be? Hal. Usually. You can have it as a tawkeed. So in terms of meaning, it has an emphasis meaning, tawkeed meaning, shumul, to include everybody. But in terms of its grammar and i'rab, it's going to become the hal. Understood? Okay. Ma'nawiyyun, so explain. وَهُوَ بِأَلْفَاظٍ مَعْدُودَةٍ. So now we go through the text. So we're saying here that tawkeed ma'nawi بِأَلْفَاظٍ مَعْدُودَةٍ comes with limited and a few numbers. Few words, sorry. Not وَهُيَ النَّفْسُ وَالْعَيْنِ. Nafs and ayn. And I explained this already. This is used for wahid, muthanna and majmu'. بِاخْتِلَافِ الصِّيغَةِ وَالضَّمِيرِ. By changing the sigha and the zamir. Not going to explain this. I've already explained it previously. For example, جاءني زيد نفسه والزيدان أنفسهما أو نفساهما. He brought two examples to show you can use the dual or the plural in الزيدان. والزيدون أنفسهم. I explained all of this already in the table. وكذلك أينه وأعينهما أو أيناهما أو أعينهم. You can say all of these. Yes? He hasn't got walil mu'annath, but in mu'annath you can say جاءتني هند نفسها وجاءتني الهندان أنفسهما أو نفساهما وجاءتني الهندات أنفسهن. And it's all been explained in the table. وكلا وكلتا للمثنى خاصة. Only. كلا and كلتا are only for emphasizing the dual, nothing else. نحو قام الرجلان كلاهما وقامت المرأتان كلتاهما. وكل وأجمع. So we did kullu and ajma'u. This came before. I didn't even discuss akta'u, abta'u, absa'u, because if you find it in your lifetime, you're lucky, you're fortunate. You know, you have those rare eclipses. If you see it comes once every So أكتع, أبصع and أبتع, they hardly ever use. كلنا أجمع are the main ones. So كل and أجمع and also أكتع, أبتع and أبصع. These are used for other than مثنى. We had a table already. For other than مثنى. How? باختلاف الضمير في كل. So you change the ضمير in كل and you change the صيغة in all of these. And I explain in a table. So you change the ضمير in كل and you change the ضمير and the صيغة. كل in the, so in here you change the ضمير and the صيغة, and in كل you just change the صيغة. تقول جاءني القوم كلهم أجمعون. Okay, now it's coming next slide. Okay, here. These words أكتع, أبتع, أبصع, these are used for تأكيد التأكيد. What is used for? تأكيد التأكيد. Meaning أكتع, أبتع, أبصع don't come on their own. You must say جاء الناس أكتعون or جاء الناس أبتعون. You don't say this. What would you say? You do توكيد of أجمع. So جاء الناس أجمعون أبتعون. That's why he brought it after أجمعون. So أبتعون, أبتعون, أبصعون, they come what? After أجمع. They emphasized أجمع. Does that make sense, Musab? Yes? وقامت النساء كلهن جمعوا كتعوا بتعوا بصعوا. Okay? So you give me examples here. So, but this, I mean, if you even search on the computer, the programs, you hardly find any of these. There's one hadith, I think, in Musnad, in Tabarani, I think, but it's only one of them. And that's different narrations as well. Okay, but generally speaking, you don't come across. But keep it in mind. Okay? Right. And this already came before, similarly, previously. وَإِذَا أَرَدْتَ تَأْكِيدَ الضَّمِيرِ الْمَرْفُوعِ الْمُتَّصِلِ. When you wish or you intend to emphasize ضمير مرفوع متصل. We explain this in the rule. Yeah. If you want to do تأكيد of a ضمير مرفوع متصل, you have a ضمير, it's مرفوع and it's متصل. So one way of doing is what? You can say ضربت أنا. That's توكيد what? What is this توكيد? لفظي or معنوي? لفظي. But if you want to توكيد معنوي of ضربت by using نفس or عين, يجب تأكيده بالضمير المنفصل. You would have to bring the تأكيد, you have to bring the ضمير المنفصل first, then bring it. So for example, you can't just say ضربت نفس, you can't say ضربت نفسك. You have to say ضربت أنت نفسك. So this becomes توكيد. What? What's this, Musab? توكيد لفظي. And then it becomes what? توكيد معنوي. So if you want to bring توكيد معنوي of a ضمير مرفوع متصل, what do you have to do first? Bring توكيد لفظي, then bring a توكيد معنوي على توكيد لفظي. Does that make sense? He says here, ولا يؤكد, something I mentioned before. He's saying here, what he's saying is, you can only emphasize something which has, now he's explaining توكيد. You can only emphasize something which has many elements, many afrad. So these are afrad. So for example, طلاب, this is the fard of طلاب. Fard. Okay? For example, it's students, it's all student desk. Or you have one, let's see if how good my artwork is. I did a long time ago, I don't remember how. Yeah, but yeah, it's an apple. So the apple has what? أجزاء. Yes? So you have juz. Okay? So he's saying here, لا يؤكد بكل وأجمع. You can إلا and لا. You can only emphasize using كل and أجمع ما that item, that thing, له أجزاء, which has parts. وأبعاد, أبعاد is the plural of بعض. بعض means parts as well. Which has parts and أفراد. يصح افتراقها حسا, which you can separate حسا physically. حسا physically, by means of sense. Physically. physically. Okay? Something which you can separate physically. كالقوم. So qawm is a group of people and you can separate them. 1 member, 2 members, 3 members, 4 members. So now you can do tawqeed of qawm using kull and ajma because qawm can actually be separated physically. Okay? So this atf. يصح افتراقها. It is possible to separate. Iftiraq, to separate. You can separate it hissan or hukman. Let's say, for example, something it doesn't have parts, but hukman you can separate it. For example, in the old time days you have abd before emancipation and slavery. You used to have slaves. So you say ishtaraytul abda. So you can purchase a slave, but a slave is only one. But when you can purchase them in halves, that you can half ownership. So here, hukman, you can purchase half a slave, a whole slave. So you can say ishtaraytul abda kullahu. You can say ja al qawm kulluhum. Because what? In qawm, this is iftiraq hissan. You can actually separate the qawm into different people. And in abd, you can't separate the abd. There's only one person. But the way you buy, you can buy parts of it. You can buy shares in a slave. In those times, again, that's another masla. Doesn't record it here. Okay? But you can't say akramtul abda kullahu. Because you can separate and differentiate buying a slave into parts, buying portions of a slave, but you can't honor a slave in different parts of him. You either honor him or you don't honor him. So you can't say akramtul abda kullahu. Do you understand? And you can also argue against that as well. So what he's saying here is that you can only emphasize something which has parts, or you can have parts either hissan or hukman. Okay. And the last part he says here, وَأْلَمْ أَنَّ أَكْتَعَ وَأَبْتَعَ وَأَبْصَعَ. The أكتع, أبتع, أبصع. And the mu'annas forms are atba'un. They are tabi'. So a tabi' of a tabi'. They follow. They follow what? Ajma. So أكتع, أبتع, and أبصع only follow what? Ajma. وَلَيْسَ لَهَا مَعْنًا هَا هُنَا بِدُونِهِ. I don't really need hahuna here. Without ajma, you can't have akta. You can't say, as mentioned before, you can't say ja'a ar-rajulu, ja'a an-nasu akta'un. Why it only comes tabi to ajma'un or absa'un or abta'un. That's what he's saying here. That the word akta, abta, and absa, all three of these, which are very rare in Arabic language, these three, they are very rare. They hardly ever come. But when they do come, they come as a tabi' to ajma. They never come independently. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah. It's additional emphasis. It creates emphasis upon emphasis. Okay? So because they are tabi' to akta, abta, because they are tabi' to ajma, you can't bring it first. You can't say ja'an nasu akta'un, because it's a tabi, it has to come afterwards. You can't say akta'una ajma'un. Correct? And you can't say akta'una on its own as well. You have to bring it all together. So وَلَا يَجُوزُ تَقْدِيمُهَا عَلَى أَجْمَعْ وَلَا ذِكْرُهَا بِدُونِهَا. So you can't bring these words before ajma'. وَلَا ذِكْرُهَا أي لا يَجُوزُ ذِكْرُهَا بِدُونِهَا. Neither can you mention these words without ajma'. Does that make sense? So you have to bring these words, which are very rare anyways, after ajma' and with ajma'. You can't bring it alone or before. Understood? Any questions? Yeah. I don't remember seeing Akta, Abta, Absa anywhere in my readings. I searched for it, I found one hadith, but apart from that, I don't remember ever coming across. We have to keep it in mind. It may come across sometime, some poetry or something may come across it. So understand? So we've covered Tawqeed Ma'nawi and we covered Tawqeed Lafzi. Tawqeed Lafzi is repetition, and Tawqeed Ma'nawi is where we bring a new word all together. Okay? Subhanallah bihamdi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.